artists, welcome back. How are we all doing this week? Okay, so I'm just gonna get right to it. Things are kind of messy right now because half of the USA is covered in snow, including us. And so really just briefly going to explain why we're in my kitchen right now. It's very cold in my studio, very cold, especially the other day whenever it was like below zero, and it was not a good place to be filming. So I just decided to bring some of the art supplies up here and managed to do that. But I did want to bring you a video this week because last week I went to Art Mart, which is the largest art supply store in my city of St. Louis, and I picked up some things. I showed you a haul, and I wanted to be able to try out some of that stuff, including this little fancy sketchbook right here. It's a Talons Art Creation sketchbook. I got it for $8 and it was such a steal. But what I really wanted to do in the focus of this video is to test the limits of it because it proclaims that it can handle wet media and dry media. So we're going to try all of this stuff right here and see what we can come up with. So if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe if you want more art content like this. So thank you for joining me today, and let's get started. Okay folks, so here are some of the things that I bought when I went to Art Mart, and I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm in a tin can, but I'm actually in my kitchen. This is temporary, but something happened with importing some of my clips too, unfortunately, so you won't be able to see me trying out the Faber-Castell marker, but let's just say the end result speaks for itself. You can see how it didn't handle that application very well, but you know, I really didn't expect it to. So lesson learned, you know, originally I used the water-soluble graphite pencils by Faber-Castell to sketch this out, and which it worked beautifully here. When I saw how ugly the results of the markers were, I just decided, well, let's just see how some of this acrylic gouache would do. So here's the fan favorite from Holbein in Prussian blue. By the way, this was a lot of fun because I didn't have a plan in mind. I was just testing different media to see what would work and what didn't. So I feel like that's a really great thing for artists to do rather than just be fixed in our own ideals of a finished piece. It's a lot more fun to just let go and let the artwork unfold. And sometimes we run into mistakes, of course, just like this, but it's a very beneficial point to know what will work in that moment and what doesn't work. So the gouache really held up well. There was a bit of a buckle from the original marker underneath, but I feel like if you used acrylic gouache, you'd be able to use it fairly well here in the sketchbook. Maybe not as many layers as some other paper, but surely you could use it for some sketchy pieces. So here we have the Bruynzeel Design Colored Pencil, which is their artist grade pencil. I used to have a small set of these, and they are waxier than I remembered. I don't know if they changed their formula or what, but either way, it works well to just try this out and see what the pencil would add to the piece. I felt like the mint blue-green color really added a nice pop amongst the analogous colors of deep blues. So yeah, I liked it a lot. I don't think I would rebuy a big set of these, but they are nice to have a few of them open stock. I want to note that the paper of this sketchbook is very smooth, so maybe that's why the color just kind of glided across the surface and felt waxier instead of the colored pencil changing the formula. Okay, so I admit it's been a while since I've worked with watercolor and I need to get back into it. So it really felt awkward since I was impatient between the layers here, which I don't normally do when I'm painting in watercolor. And I don't know, it's kind of like riding a bike though, right? You just kind of like get back on the horse and start practicing again and things kind of come together. These are the Pentel watercolors, which are extremely affordable, and I love how bright they are. They're about $15 for 24 colors on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description box below. The application of the watercolor actually didn't make the paper buckle as much, and it didn't bleed over to the other side of the paper, which I was really happy about. Before we continue, folks, and we get into the juicy parts of colored pencil and Posca pens, I want to thank today's sponsor of this video, Skillshare. Skillshare offers thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people on topics like sketching portraits, painting portraits, and of course, colored pencil. Guys, recently I have been so inspired by Chris Hong's artwork, and I discovered Chris on YouTube, and she has a Skillshare class on drawing colorful portraits and injecting color and life into those portraits. She takes you through the entire process and the importance of values, being bold by using unconventional colors, and she even has 2 bonus tutorials. I just really love her demeanor. I'm so excited that I've already started her class and want to take her other portrait course too. So the first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership, and their annual subscription is less than $10 a month. If you're looking for the most versatile platform on learning, look no further than Skillshare. So as I was painting, I kept thinking to myself, what could I do with the background? And I decided to sprinkle in the white Uniposca paint pen in the fine point to add some depth to create a night sky here. And then I used the yellow and orange medium point Posca paint pen, say that 13 times or 10 times or whatever. I used those on top of the watercolor to add more vibrancy and highlights to the watercolor, since I did not do a great job there. I'm actually almost embarrassed at how sloppy it looked. But I do remember how tired and impatient I felt in that moment, and so we're just gonna blame it on that. That was the reason why I did so poorly, and we all have bad paint days, right? Ooh, see how awesome that yellow paint pen looks? It just added to the piece so well, and it all worked out. The whole point was to try as much as I could to do what I could without ruining the paper or the artwork. So I think it turned out successfully in that sense. Okay, so here's the thing. Unless I am doing a tutorial, I kind of feel like the beginning layers of colored pencil are a little bit monotonous, and I don't want to bore you guys, so I trimmed a bit here, but I did grab my trusty vintage barrel Prismacolor pencils and just kind of went to town with them. I found myself bored with the traditional skin tones, so of course after I turned off the camera for a while and became frustrated, things really started to unfold. So I apologize that some of that footage didn't make it into this video. I guess it may have been a combo of impatience and performance anxiety. I'm not really sure. But when I started to become more experimental with the bright colors and cross-hatching, that's when things really started to become a lot more fun, and I was having a lot more fun and enjoying it. So I was able to really get in the zone, and surprisingly enough, during the creation of this sketch, I actually hadn't discovered Chris Hong's artwork and Skillshare class yet. So finding her and her work just inspired me to pursue this avenue of colorful portraits more. So I feel like as much as I love portraits, sometimes the traditional skin tones they become boring to do multiple layers of, and it's a very slow medium. So my goal is to see the quote unquote unseen colors that can bring life to a portrait and illustration. As far as the paper goes, you can tell that I ended up layering quite a bit with cross-hatching, and I was able to layer several layers without any issues whatsoever. But do keep in mind that I kept the pressure kind of light to medium, and I only blended out a little bit here and there. So a heavier application of realism with colored pencil may or may not work as well. Maybe that's perhaps something I should try to use with this sketchbook. So I'm just making some finishing touches with the white Posca pen here and sharpening some details. I really truly love this process, everyone. I felt inspired to sketch regularly again, and this paper can hold plenty of dry media, but I've also found that while it can take wet media, it doesn't accept heavy applications of it, which seems to be my tendency to do because I love layering and all the details. So I'll probably just have to stick to just minimizing those wet applications and just
having just a couple of layers. So here's the finished product. I hope you enjoy it. And I don't have my fancy tripod with me, my camera dolly, so we're just gonna pretend that it was there.
So what'd you think, huh? Yeah, I'm actually very pleased with this. I think that this is actually a really, really interesting sketchbook, and I think it's really awesome when you can find something that's not only affordable, but something that can handle wet and dry media for those of us who just can't seem to pick one medium. So this is the answer. And you know, I'll give you a more well-rounded opinion whenever I get more sketches in and everything down the road. So thank you for joining me today, everybody. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It means a lot to me and I really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on all of the notifications so that you know every time that I upload. And I will see you later, artists. I hope you have a wonderful week and stay safe out there, and I'll see you later. Okay, keep creating. Hang in there with me. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. And I know I already said that because I say that a lot. It's going in the blooper file. Yes. Jazz hand. Get your jazz hands out.